Posted by you/Bobby_Mishi. Yesterday, I, 30F, had an amazing day with my boyfriend, 36M. It was the first real day of our week-long vacation that I had planned and organized for his birthday. As we were on our way to dinner, he suddenly wanted to go through my phone. Out of nowhere, he started going through messages from months before I even met him, questioning who everyone was. Mind you, I've never cheated on him or talked to anyone behind his back. In fact, when my ex reached out a few times, I openly told him about it as soon as it happened and asked him how he'd like me to proceed. Anyway, after going through all of that, he checked my recently deleted texts. He is not tech-savvy, so I asked him how he even knew that feature existed, at which point he began stumbling over his words. I asked him if he had been deleting messages and then deleting them from recently deleted. He said no. A little background, my boyfriend has an ex he broke up with right before meeting me. When he blocked her some months into our relationship, she began emailing him nonstop, sending horrible things multiple times a day, several times a week. About 5.5 weeks ago, his ex abruptly stopped emailing. I found this extremely weird and began questioning him about whether he talked to her. He started acting weird with his phone, being secretive, and my anxiety peaked. I must have asked him over a dozen times if he was being honest with me about everything and if there was anything I needed to know. I even voiced that I needed to increase the frequency of my therapy sessions because I had no idea why my anxiety was so high. All the while, he played the supportive boyfriend, pretending he was doing nothing wrong. Well, after he went through my phone, I asked him if I were to email his ex, would the story line up? He assured me it would. Then, while at dinner, he stepped away to the bathroom. When he came back, I made a bitter comment. What, did you go in there to warn her to get your story straight? He assured me he hadn't spoken to her in months. Later that night, we made up. We were lying in bed, and I asked him, so, you swear you haven't talked to her? He said, I swear. Then I said, on your family? Complete silence. This is when I knew. I told him he needed to tell me everything. He was silent for about 15 minutes, and you can imagine my anxiety. Finally, he admitted that he did talk to her, just once, to give her closure. I freaked out. How could you lie to me? I didn't believe it was just that one time. When was the last time? All the while, he kept saying it was just once and that it was right after the emails stopped. He swore. Then I looked at my phone. What did I have? An Instagram message request from his ex, saying that he told her I was going to email her but that she hadn't received anything yet. Oh man, I lost it. I told him to tell me everything because, obviously, he was still lying. He wouldn't, and refused to explain. So, I packed my bags, got a sketchy hotel, and slept there with my bags against the door. I talked to his ex this morning. She was trying to cover for him, and he was covering for her. It turns out they've been talking, about what, who knows, for weeks. The most recent time, aside from when he went to the bathroom, was a week before our trip when she wished him a happy birthday, and they chatted about this trip. Allegedly, she said she could disappear, but did he take her up on that? Nope, he stayed in contact. The guy thinks he's the good guy for making amends with her while gaslighting me, lying, and making me feel like I'm just an overly anxious person, which I'm not when I'm in an environment that's genuine. What's crazy is, my intuition knew, and I was literally having dreams about him talking to her. All the while, he was constantly assuring me. I don't know if there's any way past this. Am I overreacting? Update 2 days later. So, my original post got deleted, probably because his ex reported it, but who knows? As most of you who have been keeping up know, I had to stay one day and night in the cabin with him. He wouldn't leave me alone, kept apologizing, and asking if I could forgive him. He refused to let me sleep in the bed, even after I suggested he take the floor or the couch. So, I ended up on the couch. We left the next morning. It was a 7-hour car ride filled with him attempting to apologize, saying he didn't understand how he could ruin things like this. He said he should have told me about trying to tie things up with her and that we should have handled it together. He kept repeating that he didn't know why he does this to people, admitting he was ashamed and calling himself a horrible person. He kept hoping I could forgive him. Fast forward to when we got home, and he still wouldn't leave my house. He stayed with me most of the night, continually asking for forgiveness. He said he had no idea what came over him at the cabin, that he felt like he was in a trance, and he couldn't explain why he defended his psycho ex. At this point, I even started to believe she might be somewhat unhinged, in the clinical sense, not in a derogatory way. Boy, was I manipulated. After we watched a movie, he finally left. This morning, he sent me a screenshot of himself signing up for therapy, saying how special I am to him and that he envisioned us being together forever. He swore he didn't understand his own actions and promised never to speak to her again. He insisted he was sorry and was ready to work through everything, even considering giving me full access to his Apple ID and online accounts. Then he mentioned he was heading to the gym and then to his parents' place to clear his head. Well, while he was at his parents', I received a very long email from his ex about an hour ago. It exposed the extent of their communication, which, by the way, had been going on the whole time. The lies and manipulation she described are genuinely the worst I have ever experienced from any man. She detailed the entire story from the very beginning, including things only he and I should have known, but with a twist that proved she couldn't be making it all up. I'm in actual shock right now. I sat on my couch, cried, and then just felt numb. This guy is possibly the most terrifying person I've ever allowed into my life. The level of deceit and manipulation is unreal. I genuinely don't even have the energy to explain everything in detail right now. His ex and I are exchanging emails, and it only gets worse. It's like reading about behavior straight out of a psychology textbook. He checks every box of a narcissist and meets all the criteria for a sociopath. I can't believe I let someone like this into my life, and was still considering believing him. Holy crap. I sent him screenshots of what his ex shared with me and told him never to contact me again. He tried to cherry-pick parts of her email, saying she was lying and that he was sorry she would say that. He denied some things she claimed and insisted she was sprinkling in lies. I am done. I'm running far away from this. Up in the comments. She has sent me so much proof, screenshots and details about things only he and I knew. It's very clear she's telling the truth. She says he told her that I was fine with them talking. I don't know. Part of me still wonders if her trauma bond with him will cause her to let him back in. She claims she's done now that she knows the full truth about how much he was manipulating both of us. He's seriously messed up. I really hope she finds the strength to stay away from him, but if she does go back, I won't envy her. It's clear that this cycle will just keep repeating over and over with him.